Alright, today we're going to talk about number properties. Number properties are basically a set of rules that numbers have to follow. So just like you have to follow rules at school or at home, numbers always have to follow these sort of rules, and it's their properties. The first one we're going to talk about is the identity property. We're also going to talk about the commutative property and the associative property as well. But let's start off with the identity property. Let me tell you, this identity property is going to blow your mind. The identity property, first off, let's see if you agree that 13 would equal 13. Nod your head if you would agree with that. Great. So now what the identity property tells me is if I add 0 to 13, it still equals 13. So 13 plus 0 is equal to 13. That's the identity property. That's as hard as it gets. Next, you'd also agree that 27 is equal to 27. Again, nod your head if you agree. Alright, here what we do is this is using multiplication. 27 times 1 is equal to 27. So the identity property tells me when I add 0 or I multiply by 1, the number that it's equal to is equal to that original number. Alright, 13 is equal to 13, 27 is equal to 27. That's the identity property. The commutative property. The commutative property allows me to do one thing. What the commutative property allows me to do is to take 3 plus 7, which is equal to 10, and it allows me to swap those numbers and say 7 plus 3, which is equal to 10. So oftentimes we write it out like this. 3 plus 7 is equal to 7 plus 3. And again, we saw that both of these are equal to 10. So the commutative property says when I'm adding, and I'm only adding, I can swap the numbers and it gives me the same result. It also allows me to do it with multiplication. So I earlier had 9 times 2 and it swapped it out and gave me 2 times 9. Well, 9 times 2 is equal to 18 and 2 times 9 is equal to 18. You can see they're equal to the same thing. So the commutative property allows my numbers to commute. You can kind of see it here, and this is a way I like to remember it. My numbers are able to move. They're able to commute. Kind of like your mom or dad starts at home, and maybe she has to commute or drive, move to work. All right, so you commute. All right. The last property we have is the associative property. This one allows us also to do one thing. So the commutative property allowed my numbers to move. The associative property with addition allows my parentheses to move. So when we talk about order of operations, we always do parentheses first. What the associative property allows me to do is to go 5 plus 8 inside parentheses, which is equal to 5 plus 13, or equal to 18. We can say that's equal to 5 plus 5 plus 8. You can see my parentheses are here, and now they're around these two numbers. They associate the different numbers. And you can see they're equal to the same thing. So when we're adding, and only adding here, then we can move the parentheses. It also allows us when we multiply, and only multiply, those parentheses can move. So we did have 5 times 2 times 9. And now we have 5 times 2 in parentheses times 9. Well, let's use order of operations. 5 times 18, and that's equal to 10 times 9. If you multiply this out, 18 times 5, that's equal to 90, and that is also equal to 90. So you can see they're equal to the same thing. That's the associative property. One thing I like to think about when I think about associative property is that it likes to associate numbers. You're associating the 5 and the 5. You're associating this 5 and the 2. So if you think about it here, we have the detective, Walking Joe, and a little cowboy. Sometimes Walking Joe likes to associate himself with the cowboy. Sometimes he likes to associate himself with the detective, but sometimes he likes to go back to the cowboy. He associates himself by these parentheses. The parentheses can move back and forth. What I want you to do is on your notes, just tell me what property am I using. With 54 plus 6 is equal to 6 plus 54. Just tell me with these three different problems, what property am I using, and we'll cover that first thing tomorrow. All right? I'll talk to you later. Bye.